so that they can bring her back to life. That's the basic plot. That's the only plot of this movie, if you can even call that a plot. Again, terrible acting. I thought this, other than the blood draining scenes, and there's one scene where they're talking about the guys in a bar are talking about this character named Jim Carrey, and that always makes me laugh because I think of Jim Carrey the actor, but this way before anybody had heard a lot about Jim Carrey or heard anything about Jim Carrey, because this was made in the 70s. There's a character named Jim Carrey, and they're sitting around this bar talking about how they hadn't seen Jim Carrey in days and wondered what happened to him. And the guy comes stumbling in there with his tongue hanging out of his mouth, blood all over his face, and then the guy just kind of explodes, and they have to call in a pathologist and all this stuff to try to figure out what happened to this guy. And then you have another guy later on in the bar that's still trying to clean up the blood from where this guy exploded all over the place. And the blood looks like some kind of syrup or something, and some kind of slime concoction. And that character too that's cleaning up the blood is insanely weird and horrible too. But the only reason I could think of that you'd really want to watch this film is to get a good laugh. I mean, there's no other reason. I mean, the special effects really aren't that great in this. The blood's too red and looks too fake and everything. But if you want to watch it for a good laugh, then definitely Invasion of the Blood Farmers is one to watch for that. This says it's digitally remastered from the 35mm negative, and again, the 35mm negative must have been horrible to begin with, because this digitally remastered version doesn't look that good. It's letterboxed, it has a theatrical trailer, still gallery, and like I said, it has the new episode of Fred Olen Ray's Night Owl Theater. Okay. The last one I want to talk about is Nightmare at Shadow Woods. I think it came out at one time under a different title, but I'm not sure right now what that title was. This is a very rare DVD release, and I'm not sure how many of you got in on it when Amazon was offering it for like $7 or $8. The reason I got it primarily was because Ted Raimi is in it in a very small part. It's like blink and you'll miss him, as a condom salesman at the drive-in at the very beginning of the film. And this movie, again, very, very poor acting. Maybe a step up from Invasion of the Blood Farmers. Very corny dialogue, very cheesy dialogue. The killer goes around. It's during, if you want to watch a horror movie that takes place around Thanksgiving or during the Thanksgiving holiday, Nightmare at Shadow Woods would be one to pick. There are very few horror films that take place around Thanksgiving. Home Sweet Home, and a horror film with Sally Field called Home for the Holidays, and this one are the three that I can think of. But anyway, the killer goes around all the time saying, "That's not cranberry sauce," when he's talking about blood on a machete, and he's like chasing people and he's got the machete and he keeps saying, "It's not cranberry sauce." And it's just, I don't know who came up with the dialogue for this film, but they obviously weren't good writers. But anyway, the story, the main story concerns twin brothers who, when they were younger, they were at a drive-in with their mother, and one of the boys is obviously crazy. He ends up killing a couple or killing a guy at the drive-in, then blaming it on his twin brother, who is then sent away to an asylum. Real original, right? So the brother ends up breaking out of the asylum and coming back home. But as we all know, the one in the asylum is not the crazy one. The crazy one is the one that's always been living at home with his very alcoholic, mentally unstable mother. And you just, again, got a lot of oddball characters in this one. Good gore effects, I will say that. This is another one that, if you're a big Ted Raimi fan, you might want to watch it to see him at the very beginning. Again, it's a blink and you'll miss him thing. Or the gore effects. And also, the main guy, Mark Soper, I believe his name is. If you're a Cheap Trick fan, I always thought this guy looked kind of similar to Robin Zander of Cheap Trick. But anyway, I don't think this really has any special features per se. No. And it is from 1983, and it's 84 minutes long. So it's not a real long movie. Probably one of the better ones of the 6 that I've talked about. But anyway, that's the 6 films I was going to cover. And I guess that's all for now. And I hope to be back soon with another video. Thanks for watching, guys.